Hey, what's up? Welcome. Guy Haberman here on the Haberman and Middlecoff YouTube channel where you can like and subscribe. Kyle Shanahan's message to Brock Purdy, very simple this week. You're fine. Thinking more about and watching the game again, but thinking more about what Kyle Shanahan said after the game on Monday night, the loss to the Vikings. 2 interceptions in the last 5 minutes. Kyle Shanahan's been known to have a temper. He will scream. He will yell. He was much madder at Brock last year at the end of the first half of a game when the Niners tried to run a play before getting the field goal unit on the field, and Brock threw the ball too high in the air out of bounds and almost wasted time. He was furious. 2 interceptions in the last 5 minutes. Wasn't furious. Why not? Well, because this wasn't the Brock Purdy indictment game that some people think it was. It was the Brock Purdy missed opportunity game. But look at these stats from NFL Live. Brock Purdy this season, says the graphic. First 5 games, 72%, 9 yards per attempt, 9 touchdowns, no picks. Total QBR, 85. Last 2 games, says the graphic. 0-2, 58%. 7 yards per attempt, almost 2.5 yards less per attempt. 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, 50 QBR. Well, misleading, right? Because Brock Purdy was 44% against the Browns and 70% against the Vikings. So if we broke up the last 2 games, you'd say, did the Vikings game belong more in the first 5 games category, or does it belong more in the Browns category? You'd say by completion percentage, it belongs more in the first 5 games category. Okay. How about yards per attempt? 9.3 in the first 5, 7 against the Vikings. Well, or 7 in the last 2. Well, against the Browns, it was 4.6. Against the Vikings, it was 9. So the Vikings game by yards per attempt, much closer to the first 5 games than the Browns game. Touchdown, interception. 3 picks in the last 2 games. 2 in the last 5 minutes of the Vikings game. So actually the Vikings game much worse than the Browns game from that perspective. And the total QBR, if you're into it, was 37 against the Browns, 63.5 against the Vikings. So in the middle, but definitely closer to the first 5 than the Browns game, the Vikings game. So, not the indictment game, definitely the missed opportunity game. And this is why I consistently said, well, Brock was tearing it up and people were crowning the new king. The conversation that was stupid was when people would say, it's over. I don't want to hear any more Brock criticism. I don't want to hear any Brock questions. It's over. As if Brock was about to go on to have the greatest touchdown interception ratio in the history of the league, which, by the way, for qualified quarterbacks is Tom Brady, 28 touchdowns, 2 picks. Let us not forget, though, the 48 touchdown, 5 interception 2020 season that Aaron Rodgers had. The 36 touchdown, 4 interception season that Tom Brady had. The 45 touchdown, 6 pick 2011 season that Aaron Rodgers had. The 50 touchdown, 8 interception season that Tom had. The 31 touchdown, 5 interception season that Russell had. Or, of course, we all remember the 27 touchdown, 2 interception season that Nick Foles had. But that's not what this was about, right? Going through a season with perfect games, 10 touchdowns, no picks. This Vikings game was about, in winning time, not taking advantage of his best opportunity. And we can go back to this great stat from John Breach of CBS Sports on Monday night. We talked about this. John and I talked about this on the podcast. But I think I looked at it wrong when we went through it, or at least didn't look at it as closely as I should have when we went through it on Monday night. Here's the stat for those who missed it. Brock Purdy, in his career, trailing in the fourth quarter, 12 of 31, okay? 166 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions, QB rating of 17, 2 of those 3 interceptions obviously came in the Vikings game. The number we talked about was the 0-3, the 17 passer rating, 12 of 31, well below 50% completion. But the number really we got to talk about is the pass attempt number. 31 pass attempts when trailing in his career in the fourth quarter. That is nothing. I mean, you think about it, if you get 2 possessions in a fourth quarter, let's say conservatively, in a like Kirk, for example, threw the ball plus 40 times. So let's just say that's around 10 per quarter. The Niners don't throw it as much, but let's say if you're trailing, you're probably throwing it 10 times in 2 possessions at least, but it might be 14. So 31 pass attempts, that's like 2 fourth quarters. I mean, I what I should have done is gone back and looked at how many pass attempts he had in this fourth quarter, but it's not that many fourth quarters. And it just paints the picture of how little he's done this, which is why you wanted him to come through in the clutch. And it was clutch. I mean, there was clutch time, didn't get it done. The more I've watched the 2 interceptions, the more I stand by what I said, which was the first one was kind of freaky, but also the opposite of freaky, which is just, it was normal football. That's the throw he always makes. That's a route they always run. That time he missed it. And as it turns out, upon further review, the left guard got shoved right into him. And everybody, he even explained afterwards, Juwan Jennings did the right thing. I lost vision, blah, blah, blah. Pretty normal. Like that's what offenses who are willing to push the ball down the field run themselves into. So I stand by that one, being critical of, not being critical of that one. John and I disagreed the other day. He was more critical of that one. I was more critical of the late game one. And he kind of convinced me, look, in that late game situation, you're in desperation mode. So you're doing desperate things. Okay. I thought it was reckless because I thought it was a very, very, very high degree of difficulty throw, given the coverage, given the target was Ray McLeod, and given his arm, it's a tough throw to make. Now, he was trying to layer the throw, so it wasn't really a strong arm type throw. But regardless, the sample size is just so small. And when you take into account the Vikings game and the Browns game back to back, the Vikings game kind of feels like a continuation of the Browns game, but it really wasn't. Part of what happened we want to get to the message for Shanahan. Part of what happened on Monday Night Football was he got outplayed by a guy who completed almost 80% of his passes for 380 yards. And Kirk had some things go his way, and Kirk had some things not go his way, right? The first interception wasn't really Kirk Cousins' fault. And the touchdown to Jordan Addison at the end of the half was, a turnover-worthy play that turned into a touchdown. It was a great play by Jordan Addison. And the more I think about that Vikings game 2 days removed from it and watching the game again, and some of you have probably watched it again or watched the highlights again, the more you see how freaking good Kirk Cousins was. It doesn't change anybody's big picture opinion of Kirk Cousins, does it? Like, think about it. Think about it this way. Did you watch that game and go, oh my God, I've been wrong about Kirk Cousins for the last decade. He's actually a top 5 quarterback because he played like one. No, you didn't do that. Nobody really did that. Mike Sando didn't go, got to update the quarterback tiers. All the GMs and front office execs and assistant coaches and quarterback coaches reached out to me and said, we got to redo the tiers. Kirk's tier 1 after what was clearly a tier 1 game. Like, we'll see. It might be at the end of the year that Kirk Cousins put forth the best quarterback performance the Niners are going to face this year. That might have happened. And we'll see Joe Burrow this week, and we'll see Lamar Jackson, and we'll see Jalen Hurts, and we'll see Dak again. We'll get to Jerry Jones in a second. But it might have been that Kirk just put on display the best, not just by the statistics, but put on display the best performance, given everything going on around him. So the message that Kyle Shanahan's given Brock Purdy, he started it in the press conference on Monday night by saying, I thought he played well, except for the Jennings interception. So he wasn't even that mad at all, really, about the end of the game pick. And the message this week continually is the message that failed for Matt Nagy when he was a head ball coach for the Bears, but is a good message and comes from Andy Reid. Remember, Matt Nagy always had on his play sheet the phrase BU. For some reason, it had a period at the end of it. BE space YOU period. Punctuation was important. BU. But I think that's critical for Brock. And what I'd like to see is Brock go back to the bomber jacket and the t-shirt. Didn't love the suit look. BU ain't the suit look post-game Monday Night Football. Now, maybe that was a primetime game thing, but the bomber jacket t-shirt was for the Cowboy game. So that would be my message to Brock too. Don't go wasting your time and your money becoming quarterback suit guy. You don't need to be that guy. You don't need to be that guy. If Fred Warner wants to rock the suit, Fred Warner's been that guy. You've been backpack and t-shirt. Just be you, man. By the way, little sartorial tip. There's a dead giveaway for a suit maker that's like high-end class and a suit maker that kind of tacky. Not Brock, but it's a good-looking suit. You count on the experts, the suit makers, to lead you in the right direction. I'm sure Brock did that. I'm sure Brock said, I like that. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Whatever. Maybe he didn't say any of it. Maybe somebody got him fitted and they just gave him 7 suits. The little thread notch on the left lapel being in the color that's opposite of the suit, like white in the case of Brock, is the suit maker trying to say, this is a custom suit. Which, go look at a picture of Fred Warner. I know it's custom because it's Fred. Like, look at it. He can't buy a suit off the rack. It's jacked. But like, they want you to know. Whereas just good fit. That's all you need. So Brock, man, just be you. Just be you. He's fine. That Vikings game was a bounce back game for him. He bounced back. The Browns game did not linger, did not negatively affect him. He bounced back. Then, in winning time, made a couple of mistakes. But it was not some Browns game hangover. Brock wasn't seeing ghosts. Brock didn't suddenly lose his confidence. He doesn't suddenly have the yips. He probably doesn't even really need Kyle to boost him up or tell him be you. He looks good. It's not a criticism of Brock. He looks good. I'm not criticizing Brock. Looks good. Jerry Jones. Now I've got the double aggregation here. 49ers web zone. Aggregated. Good job. Thank you. I check the website regularly, so good place to make sure I'm not missing anything. Angela Martin of NBC Sports Barrier was the one that found it. Jerry Jones, and I've listened to the Jerry Jones show. Before the Niner game, I listened to it. Listen to 103.5 The Fan. Jerry does a weekly radio show there. This is what he said. I would have liked to have played better against the Niners. And, of course, watch with interest this entire weekend's games, but certainly that one last night. That's what he said on Tuesday. You see a team step up there and play like Minnesota did and their quarterback did. They can be had. The 49ers I'm talking about. They can be had. Then you see a team like Minnesota needs to be reckoned with. Hello, NFL. The 49ers definitely can be had. They can be beat. Kirk Cousins just did it. The Browns and P.J. Walker did it in the rain. Can the Niners win on the road? That's a question. They haven't been good the last 2 weeks on the road. They didn't handle the weather. They didn't handle the noise. Is their defense good enough? That's a good question. Can they cover? Can they create enough pressure? Didn't get a sack. QB hit's a great stat. Not as great when it comes after the ball's gone. That's a question. Can Brock Purdy win regularly in crunch time fourth quarters? That's a question. Can Jake Moody hit clutch kicks? That's a question. Will Debo be healthy? That's a question. Will McCaffrey be healthy? That's a question. Will Trent Williams be back? That's a question. Can they beat the Cowboys? Is not a question. Can Dak Prescott play against the 49ers, the game that Kirk Cousins just played against the 49ers? If he can, we've yet to see it. Can Kevin O'Connell's performance on Monday Night Football be duplicated by Mike McCarthy? No. McCarthy doesn't have it in the bag. Not against the Niners. Not against the Niners. So Jerry's right. If Jerry does just like NFL analysis, they can be had. He's right about that. I'm not even sure that he's saying they can be had by us. He's just saying other people can get them. See, that's the thing. Everybody heard Jerry and thought he was saying, we're back in the game, baby. But he was just saying, it'll be interesting to see Niners-Ravens. Look forward to seeing the Niners Bengals this week. If Jerry Jones came out of that game suddenly confident that the Cowboys can out-scheme, outsmart, and outman the 49ers, well, I guess he's got to be an optimist at this point because this is the quarterback he's got and this is the coach he's got. And not much you can do about it at this point. Because that guy in the bomber jacket and cuts white tee, that guy beat him. All right, let's get to some of your comments here. I'm good says it was a crappy defense. McCaffrey fumbling, not just Purdy. A lot of things went wrong. That's correct. But a lot of things go wrong in every game. Win or lose, things go wrong. And, Fred Warner saying after the game, we got to be a little mentally tougher in crunch time. Like, yeah, last 2 weeks, they really got tested. Late game situations. They didn't come through. Everybody. That includes the kicker. That includes the quarterback too, right? Great quarterbacks. And the reason great quarterbacks make the money they make is because they play in games played by humans where mistakes are made and they got to overcome them and they got to make up for them. Patrick Mahomes makes what he makes because he's got guys dropping balls historically, not this year. I mean, he's got a top 5 defense this year, but some years he doesn't have a great defense. And he still can erase some of that stuff. So, yeah, everybody did it. Everybody lost that game, but there were moments to erase it, to steal it. Niners 2 weeks in a row had chances to steal games and didn't do it. And I think John made the point the other day, you got to steal games sometimes. Last season, they were 3-4 before they went on a win streak? Yeah, last season they just lost back-to-back games. Robbie on the stream says this isn't a Brock problem trailing in the fourth. It's a whole Kyle offensive scheme problem. He's like 0-38 when trailing in the fourth by more than 8 points. We got to find that stat again. Is that the correct? I got to look. If somebody's got the link to that stat, throw it up in the chat because that's a good. I forgot about that stat. That's a good stat. I did think what was critical that 3-play drive, the 3-play drive they had once they got down further, was excellent. Right, was eye opening. They had to have it. They were down 19-7. Check down to McCaffrey for 12 yards. Great throw to Kittle for 28. Quick pass to McCaffrey, 35 yards, touchdown. Like that was quick strike when they had to have quick strike. Now, it wasn't over the top quick strike, right? Which is what they've kind of always missed and are still missing. But it was quick strike. Kirk Cousins played the game of his life. It was one of his greatest games. I think it was one of his 2 greatest games statistically. Jester says, if you have multiple opportunities to lead your team down for a field goal, go ahead, scores 2 weeks in a row and fail every single time, that's absolutely bad. He's crumbling under the pressure. That is an outrageous take. Crumbling under the pressure. I don't think there's any evidence, unless you're only box score scouting, that he's crumbling under the pressure. When you watch him, he doesn't appear to be a guy crumbling. And he did put them in position to win the Browns game, and they missed the kick. So crumbling under pressure is extreme. Just like it's over, stop debating, stop questioning whether he's good enough 2 weeks ago was also extreme. These are both extremes. Like, what are we talking about here? Cousins can't play much better than that. Yeah. Now we're criticizing his clothes. What does he smell like? I'm not criticizing his clothes. I'm just saying some guys, and it happens with young guys, they feel like they got to go to the suit all of a sudden. You don't got to go to the suit. No one, it's not 1980. You don't have to go to the suit. You want to go to the suit, go to the suit. It makes you feel good, look good, play good. Quarterback should be fine. But did you see what Sam Darnold's the backup? Did you see what Sam Darnold showed up in the other day? Like a t-shirt and a Levi's like trucker jacket. Which is fine. That's what just whatever. I'm just saying you don't have to spend the money on suits. and the time, because somebody tells you should. Some marketing agent tells you, like, "Hey, let's get you in the suit." Why? If you want to wear the suit, wear the suit. Yeah, Max, they can be beat, just not by the Cowboys. Jerry should. Somebody said, I lost it here. Somebody said Jerry said that Jerry's obsessed with the Niners. He should be worried about the Niners. He should be obsessed with the Niners. You can't beat them. Will Bosa play at the level he's paid at? That's a question. Well, do we think Nick's one of the best players in the league? Yes. So I expect that the sacks at some point are going to match up here. But part of it might be you need more help. You need somebody on the other side creating a little more attention. But yeah, I think the dam is going to break at some point. For Nick, I think it has to. It has to. What would it have to, Alec asks, what would it have to look like for the Niners to move on from Purdy next year, statistically and record-wise? Good question. I mean, they're 5-2. So they got 10 games left. If they were to win 10 games total, that means 5-5 down the stretch to 10-7. That would be bad, right? So I think if they're a 10-win team, at that number, it would definitely not look great. It would definitely not look great. I mean, if he plays all 10 games, right? If he's healthy. So I could see us at 10-7 at the end of the year going, or not at the end of the year, just as the season is unfolding, going, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? Right? Something like that. 11-6, even like I think 12-4 right now that'd be good. That'd be really good. 12-4, 12-5, 12-5. 12-5 would be good. Ish. There'd be some L's in there you don't love, though. So, I mean, this is, and the Niners have been in this situation before. When there is no cost punishment to making a change, teams are always open to making changes. Nothing. This is not in. He has played like their franchise quarterback, but he has not become their franchise quarterback yet. You don't in this amount of time. And the Niners have shown, even with a lot of money and capital, draft capital invested in the guy, even that they'll move on from that. So, yeah, I mean, statistically it's a little harder to figure out what that looks like. But obviously at 10 touchdowns, 3 picks, that rate, he's probably not going to be. Is he going to be 30 touchdowns, 9 interceptions? Like right now, we're frustrated with 10-3. Is he going to be 30-9? That'd be pretty damn good. I thought before the year, I don't remember exactly what I said, but my guess is I said around 28 touchdowns. If you're in the 11 interception range, not great, but you can win 12 games with that at least, I think. And yeah, so I don't know exactly. That's a good question, but I would say 10 wins in theory at the beginning of the year for some teams sounds okay. For this team, that is not okay. Hunk says, am I wrong, or is the point of having a loaded offense, strong running game, and elite defense, isn't the point of that not to depend on essentially a rookie quarterback? I mean, yeah, but I would also say once you're in, you're in. Once you're the guy, you're the guy. So yes, but the quarterback still has to the quarterback is still required. And go watch any of these games this way. How many really hard throws does the quarterback have to make, and really hard decisions does he have to make over the course of the game? And the answer is a lot. So I mean, if it was that easy, the conversation from last week to roll out the ball, Trey Lance would have looked better, but he didn't. Marco says the best teams get the most out of losses like this. It's how you bounce back and improve that separates the winners and the what could have beens. Yeah. Yes. Agree. Yellow. We've gotten 2 Jimmy games out of Brock. Not a big deal. Yeah. Yeah. No, he's not Jimmy, who's hurt again. Brady won 7 Super Bowls. Yes, he did. Sometimes Brady played Manning, and one of them would win, and one of them would lose, and both of them went to the Hall of Fame. Sometimes one of them outplayed the other one. You know, Kirk's not going to the Hall of Fame. Although the Russillo point that if Kirk was an NBA player, he'd be going to the Hall of Fame might be the best point I've heard all year long about anything. And Brock at this point is not on far too early to call him a Hall of Famer, but I do think part of that game was who makes the most plays, who makes the fewest mistakes, and Kirk was really good that day. Guy, it's worrisome how dead in the water the offense seems to be without CMC. He played every snap. He played every snap. They weren't without CMC. We talked a lot about this on the pod the other day. If you want to go back, I think I saw Andy Liu posted it. Warriors World Andy Liu posted it. Light Years Andy Liu. My bad. Posted it the other day. I think he said I could look it up actually. I think he said around the 53-minute mark, but I've got the show log here. It was around, if you want to go back to the Monday night pod, it was around the 50-minute mark. We started talking about the offense and Kyle Shanahan, and specifically Monday night. You know, it was an accident that their quick strike drive was 2 throws to McCaffrey. Every offensive coordinator I've ever talked to has been saying this. 80% of them with a Southern accent, as long as I've covered college football, which is you got to get your playmakers in position to make plays. And, toss to McCaffrey short side of the field when they're overloaded. He can make that play, but that's not the same as check down over here, swing pass over here, McCaffrey one-on-one with nothing but space. So we'll see what Trent's status is. We know Debo's not back this week. Get through this Bengals game. Get a win this week. You break it. You're not on a 3-game losing streak. You're 6-2. You're going to have to play well. You're going to have to beat Burrow. So, good opportunity for Brock to go on the, we always talk about that quarterbacks, you don't actually play the other quarterback. It's fun to see these guys when they are on the same field with another guy that is accomplished. And we saw Brock on the field with another guy that was accomplished. And this week we're going to see it again. So great opportunity for him. Question, which cities would you most like to see get an expansion team? I don't know. Is that a thing? Coeur d'Alene. Yeah, like somewhere in North Dakota, maybe. Because if that team was good, they'd rate. That's the funny part about the NFL. You could put the team anywhere. Birmingham, Bossier, Ruston, Louisiana. I'm just naming a bunch of Louisiana places. I don't know. San Diego. Anyway, yeah, Stockton needs a team. Oh yeah, London and Berlin, of course. What was I thinking? Sorry. 100% Fargo. I will say this is serious. Salt Lake City would be legit. Salt Lake City would be really good. Salt Lake City would be good. I would support that team. That'd be a good crowd. It'd be kind of Denver-y. It'd be really good. I don't know what the population is, but that'd be good. Saskatoon. All right. That's it. San Antonio? Oh. All right. Got to roll. Have a good day whenever you're checking this out. If you're watching this video, or you are watching this video, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Every time you hit a like, you are a sponsor. Now, you're not paying money like Tito's Handmade Vodka. That's a real sponsor. Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, savory to be crafted responsibly. Somebody tweeted at me and said, a Tito's toast to Bob Melvin for becoming the Giants manager. Hell yeah. But otherwise, if you're watching this video live or after the fact, you're a sponsor too. When you like it, it sends it to more people. That helps make the video money. That helps make the channel grow. And the algorithm appreciates you. So thanks for that. And talk to y'all later. See you.